بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد ذو القدر العظيم وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. بسم الله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. بسم الله الواحد الأحد الفرد الصمد. بسم الله العزيز الغفار. بسم الله العزيز الغفار. بسم الله مقلب الليل والنهار. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to a new journey through the Quran Friday virtual reflections. And today we arrive at Surah Al-Ankabot, and Surah Al-Ankabot is Surah number 29, and it is in the 20th chapter of the Quran. And last time, if you remember, we reflected on Surah Al-Qasas, the stories, the narratives. And we said, Allah says in this surah, نَتْلُو عَلَيْكَ مِن نَبَإِ مُوسَى وَفِرْعَوْنَ بِالْحَقِّ لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ. نَتْلُو عَلَيْكَ مِن نَبَإِ مُوسَى وَفِرْعَوْنَ بِالْحَقِّ لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ. We recite to you, O Muhammad, and O reader of the Quran, مِن نَبَإِ مُوسَى وَفِرْعَوْنَ, some of the narratives of Moses and the Pharaoh. Why? بالحق. بالحق. This is a narration of haqq, of truth. لقوم يؤمنون, to a people who believe. And we said, I shared with you last time the beautiful words of Al-Imam Al-Tahir ibn Ashur rahimahullah. May Allah have mercy on him, the 20th century mufassir of the Quran, or Quranic commentator, who said in his commentary on these words that Allah mentions that this is a narrative, and that is a narration of a recitation in a sense of the Quran for the Prophet, or to the Prophet. But for what reason? If the ayah just said نَتْلُو عَلَيْكَ مِن نَبَإِ مُوسَى وَفِرْعَوْنَ بِالْحَقِّ and stop there, the ayah would be meaningful. But then the addition, as we say, زيادة المبنى تدل على زيادة المعنى. The addition in wordings, even in a single word, the longer the word is, the more meanings can be packed in it. So the longer the statement, the more meanings behind it. So why does Allah say at the end, لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ, for a people of faith? And Al-Tahir ibn Ashur said, because al-Iman, faith, should be a motivation, a fuel that makes us hungry to seek the wisdom in the story. That's why Allah specified, this is a narrative, this is a story of Moses and the Pharaoh to the Prophet. For what reason? For the benefit of the believer whose faith have actually made them curious. So in other sense, faith should make us curious. In a sense, should make us seekers of higher wisdom, of meaningful knowledge and beneficial learning. And we said towards the end of the surah, Surah Al-Qasas, there is the story of Qarun. Naam, there is the story of Qarun. Inna Qarun kana min qawmi Musa fabagha alayhim. He was from the people of Moses, or from the generation to which Moses was sent. فبغى عليهم وآتيناه من الكنوز ما إن مفاتحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة إذ قال له قومه لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. Long story short, Qarun was an extremely powerful and rich man. And Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam, God is higher in knowledge and wisdom, and He knows best. But Qarun represents dunya. Qarun represents life in all of its glory, lushness, greenness, and attractiveness and seduction. Why? Allah says right after that, وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Seek through which Allah has given you, and by which Allah has given and gifted you with الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ. In other words, invest in this life for what comes after. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Don't forget about your share of joy and happiness and enjoyment in this life. وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. be excellent just as Allah has been excellent to you. ولا تبغي الفساد في الأرض. Do not wish corruption on earth. إن الله لا يحب المفسدين. For God does not love those who are corrupt or cause corruption. Then the ayah goes back to Qarun. So you think to yourself, why did we have this ayah in the middle of the narrative of Qarun? Because perhaps, Allahu A'la wa A'lam, Allahu A'la wa A'lam. This is not a tafsir session. I'm not a mufassir, and I'm not attempting to do tafsir of the Quran here. But perhaps, from now our journey with the Quran, we have learned so many tools to read the Quran correctly, to read it with an engaged mind. Perhaps that ayah that was interjected there in the middle of the narrative of Qarun is to remind us that Qarun is a representation of dunya. And Allah is telling us, don't drown, don't sink in dunya. Seek from it what gives you joy, but don't drown in it. Don't hang on to it. Goes back the narrative, we are still in Surah Al-Qasas. We haven't even started with Surah Al-Ankabot yet. The narrative continues with Qarun, that man who lived around the time of Moses. فخرج على قومه في زينته. Please pay attention to the word zina. Pay attention to the word zina. فخرج على قومه في زينته. He went out in that parade with his full decorated kind of like parade. Zina. Zina is like decoration, vanity. قال الذين يريدون الحياة الدنيا. See how the people who want الحياة الدنيا, and note the word الحياة, and note the word الدنيا, the lower life. The lower life. Those who seek a lowly life, the lower life, the minor form of life. يا ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون إنه لذو حظ عظيم. Look what they have done. They were deceived by that glory and decoration, the out kind of like form and the glory that kind of like that, and vanity that Qarun has displayed in his parade. And to the point that they said, oh yeah, ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون. We wish, we want, we hope to have had what Qarun has. إنه لذو حظ عظيم. A word that is only said by a fool, because they said he has, what a great lot, what a great luck that he's have, or that he's had. وقال الذين أوتوا العلم ويلكم ثواب الله خير. On the other hand, the ayah chooses a description of the people on the opposite side. The one who wanted al-hayat al-dunya. So you would think that on the other side Allah would say the one who does not want al-hayat al-dunya. But the Quran is not conveying that message. The Quran is not trying to teach us to forsake life and its enjoyment and its little things that cause us joy and happiness all together, and become lead a monastic life and lead a life of celibacy and deprivation. No, because on the other hand, the ayah will show us there are the people who indulge in this dunya, but on the other hand, there are people who have knowledge. وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمِ. The people that were given knowledge. They did not forsake life. They are not life-forsaking people. No. They are people of knowledge, and that's why that knowledge gives them that understanding of balance. تَغِي فِي مَا أَتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةِ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Seek the afterlife. Take from this life what is enough for stability, enjoyment, not indulgement or indulgence rather. وقال الذين أوتوا العلم ويلكم ثواب الله خير لمن آمن وعمل صالحا. They said, whoa, hold on your horses, people who like to indulge in this life. ثواب الله خير. That God's reward God's gifts and blessings and grace is much better. لمن آمن وعمل صالحا, to whom? The one who have faith, the one who acts with righteousness. ولا يلقاها إلا الصابرون. And in top of that faith, in top of that righteousness, you need sabr, patience and perseverance and steadfastness, because life will throw challenges at you and obstacles that you need sabr. By the way, that combination of fitna and trial and testing and sabr, we find it throughout the Quran, that mixture. It's like a salad. You just have to actually look for it. We find it in Surah Al-Baqarah, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. God says in Al-Baqarah, remember me, I will remember you, I shall remember you. وَاشْكُرُوا لِي, be grateful and don't be ungrateful. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. O you who believe, faith, right there in the mixture. استعينوا, seek. استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة, in patience and perseverance and steadfastness, on salah and prayers. إن الله مع الصابرين, and God is with those who are steadfast. Move forward one more ayah. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. And we shall trial you and test you and challenge you through many different colors and means of tribulation and testing, but give glad tidings to the one who is patient. That mixture is always there in the Quran. That mixture is also found in Surah Al-Ankabot, our surah today. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alif Lam Mim. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do you think, سؤال استنكاري, it's not a question that Allah is like want to really know or expects you to answer. It's almost like a rhetorical question. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do people really think that they shall claim faith without having to face some testing to prove their strength of faith? أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do people really think that you're going to go through life saying, I'm a man of faith, I'm a woman of faith, I'm a person of faith, but you shall not be tested and trialed, sometimes in more severe ways than others? This is a wake-up call. This is such a wake and awakening, such a reality check. حسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Faith and trials and fitna come hand in hand. Faith and challenges come hand in hand. In fact, that's why we see in Surah Al-Imran towards the very end, Allah will say, ولا يغرنك تقلب الذين كفروا في البلاد متاع قليل ثم مأواهم جهنم وبئس المهاد. Allah is saying to the Prophet and to us as readers, ولا يغرنك تقلب الذين كفروا في البلاد. Don't be fooled by how the kuffar, the disbelieving people, and when we say disbelief, we really mean like, the people who just take it up with God in a sense. Not just like an agnostic who doesn't really know that God exists or is not really sure or something like that, but someone who is like really disbelieving person, an ungrateful human being. لا يغرنك تقلب الذين كفروا في البلاد. You might see that they have life, and they are living life lavishly. متاع قليل. That's a very short period of متاع, of enjoy, of متاع. متاع is like some sort of like being high. ثم مأواهم جهنم وبئس المهاد. Then their abode of everlasting, their everlasting abode of life is going to be Jahannam. وبئس المهاد. So بئس المهاد. I love this word because mihad, it comes almost from mahd, which means like a cradle, a place of comfort and sleep. So Allah is saying وَبِئْسَ المهاد, like very kind of like I don't want to use the word sarcastically, but the Quran plays on words like that. Bi's al-mihad. It should be a place of rest and comfort, and yet Allah is saying bi's. The worst kind of place to sit and rest is that kind of place. So we come back and we say in Surah Al-Ankabut, Allah wakes us up. أحسب الناس أن يفتنوا أن يقولوا أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do people really think they will be left alone with faith without testing? Try another time. ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فلا يعلمن الله الذين صدقوا ولا يعلمن الكاذبين. And here I really have to share with you what the Tayyib ibn Ashur says, because Allah says ولقد فتنا, we have tested. ولقد, لام is للتوكيد, لام is للتوكيد, للقسم, وقد للتوكيد. لام is for قسم, for making an oath. قد للتحقيق, it's kind of like a form of re-emphasizing linguistic tool. وَلَقَدْ, indeed, truly, we have done in the past, tested people of faith. وَلَا يَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَا يَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. As a result, the knowledge of God, of who is faithful and who is not, will be manifested through the actions of the people during the times of testing. And I have to share with you what the Tahir ibn Ashur says. He says, نعم أسند فتون تلك الأمم إلى الله تعالى إسنادا مجازيا لأنه خالق أسبابه كما خلق أسباب العصمة منه. Allah said, وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا, we have tested. Why did Allah make the choice to say we have tested? Not they have been tested, not in a passive sense. Why? Why in active sense? Allah showing that Allah, God has tested them people in the past. To show that the one who creates the means of fitna and the means of trials and testing is the same one who creates the means of protection from that testing, deliverance from that testing. Right? Okay. وفي هذا الإسناد إيماء إلى أن الذي خلق أسباب تلك الفتن قريبها وبعيدها قادر على صرفها بأسباب تضادها, to show you that the one who created the fitna is the one who is capable of then taking you out of this fitna. And in that, the dua of Musa alayhi salam, we see it in Surah Yunus. وقال موسى ربنا إنك آتيت فرعون وملأه زينة وأموالا في الحياة الدنيا ربنا ليضلوا عن سبيلك ربنا اطمس على أموالهم واشدد على قلوبهم فلا يؤمنوا حتى يروا العذاب الأليم فسأل الله أن يخلق ضد الأسباب التي غرت فرعون وملأه وغشيت على قلبه بالضلال. Moses made the dua. He said, God, you have given the Pharaoh wealth and money and power so that they use it to corrupt and oppress the people. So God, same way you have done that, deliver us out of the Pharaoh. ربنا اطمس على أموالهم واشدد على قلوبهم فلا يؤمنوا حتى يروا العذاب. And in my words, in my estimation, the very meaning of faith is to see the trial is from God and the deliverance out of the trial from God. If you go one way or not the other, you have missed your path. If you think that the fitna is from Allah, but you think the way out of the fitna is from anyone or anything else other than Allah, you are mistaken. If you think that the fitna is not from Allah and that the exit from any fitna that you face or any trial that you face is from Allah, you have miscalculated. Both are from Allah, and that is the complete sense of faith, is to see all coming from God. Inna lillah وإنا إليه راجعون. From God we come, to God we shall go and return. From God comes the means of fitna, who is the one who creates. And through God, the fitna will be alleviated. هذا والله أعلى وأعلم وأجل وأكرم. بارك الله فيكم. جزاكم الله خيرا. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. See you all next Friday, inshallah ta'ala.